Guys, welcome back to another video. Stephen here after the international break. City have just lost to Newcastle 2-1. I've had a pretty awful day or so, to be honest. Everyone's ill in my household, and I feel a bit more ill after witnessing that today. Yeah, wasteful is the only way I can put it. Look, I'm going to be honest with you off the bat. I am not going to lose any sleep over this game of football. If you want to see me here ranting and raving about all this and that, you're probably at the wrong channel. That's just not ready for me. I'm frustrated by a multitude of things, and there's plenty I want to talk about, absolutely, of course, but there's nothing that I am dramatically concerned about. Nothing that I don't think we can fix there. Overall, I feel like this is a performance where we sort of played ourselves, really. I think if you take your chances, you probably win that game quite comfortably in the end. I'm mainly frustrated by City's inability to convert very good chances into goals. We did concede an awful lot of chances too, but that's on the defence for doing that and the team collectively, but it's also on the forwards for not putting the ball at the back of the net. In a game like this, a game so seeped and drenched in emotion and physicality, and the mood at St James's Park clearly being so vested in the game, you need to silence them and you need to take your chances. And I think ultimately that's where the buck stops. You know, very early on, Erling Haaland, ball was found to him from Doku, and he sort of just scuffed it over the on-rushing goalkeeper to absolutely nowhere. You think of, who else with the big chances? Phil Foden scuffing a couple. One which was an absolute sitter. Haaland hitting, the keeper from a few yards out as well. Look, we should have done better in front of goal, and that to me is the story of this game. I do have my beef with the refereeing. I will rant about that a little bit. I think the referee was absolutely disgraceful in this game. This is not an excuse, but it's just something that I felt definitely shifted the tone of the game. And if I'm being honest, I did think it played into the hands of Newcastle. They were allowed to kick the shit out of Manchester City today. There were multiple cases where there should have been yellow cards, and I think we need to be tougher. That's an absolute thing. I really do think we need to be tougher, and I'll get back to that in a bit. But I do think they were allowed to kick us. They were allowed to feed into the atmosphere of St James's Park, and a tougher referee would have gone, no, you can't fucking do that. You can't kick people to pieces, and it would have calmed the game down, because they're not allowed to foul constantly, which got the fans into it. And I also, sort of can't believe you're not concerned. It's because I expected this season. That's why I'm not concerned. It's exactly what I expect. By the way, I expect this City side in games like Villa and Newcastle away, them to be more physical and bully us a little bit, and I expect this City side to get better at that over time when we add more physicality to the midfield. If Rodri was fit and firing, we don't get overrun in midfield. I think we'll add more physicality when we replace Bernardo. That's why I expected it, and I think there's still a naivety to this side. But anyways, the point I was going back to the referees. I think there's a penalty on Foden. I don't care if he's taking a shot. He gets absolutely cleaned out afterwards. It was ridiculous. It should have definitely been a penalty in my humble opinion. And I also think that goal's fucking offside. I do not, for 1 second, I don't trust that animation. You can laugh at me if you want to, but it doesn't even look like they played it at the right time, the animation, and it doesn't align with the actual images that we all saw on TV. It's weird. It just looks offside. I'm not having that at all. It feels confusing. It doesn't look right. And even if it is off the underside of his arm, you can't what? I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on there. It was an offside. I'm sorry. Look, where did this team fail today? This team failed today for many reasons. They failed because one, they didn't take their own chances. When you have as many big chances as Manchester City did, and we had lots of chances today. We had 17 shots on goal to their 9. We should be scoring. As you can see, we should have scored. A few chances today. 68% possession. When you have all that, you got to take your chances. Foden today had a very wasteful game. In terms of where we went wrong today, we didn't take our chances. We didn't win our midfield battles anywhere near enough physically. Look at that midfield. Excuse me. They've got a lot of time for Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden for obvious reasons, but they weren't strong enough today in that midfield. Nico Gonzalez, pretty much the only one with any physicality getting overrun there in midfield. We were a little bit naive going forward. I think Ryan Shirky's going to be a fantastic player, but if that guy tries one more flick on the counter, come on, mate, choose your moments to do it. A couple of chances came from giving the ball sloppily away. People like Shirky in particular were a little bit guilty of that. I think also we lost with the substitutions as well. I thought the substitutions were poor, unfortunately. I think bringing off, Doku and Shirky and Foden and so on actually made us a weaker side, actually, weirdly. I don't think we were stronger for it. I feel Savino, he's just looking terrible at the moment, unfortunately. And I think Oscar Bob's offering very little these days as well. So I think we actually got weaker as a side. It felt like me, Doku should have stayed on and Marmoush should have came on. Marmoush was the obvious one, but he got 5 minutes at the end. Like, what are we thinking there, man? I don't understand. I never understood that. Well, he got a bit longer than that because of the injury time. He got 13 minutes. He should have got much longer than that. I never got it. But Doku was our best player in that game. That's why I was so confused. In terms of creativity, Doku created a whole bunch of chances. I don't understand it entirely. And the other place we lost it was just probably our inexperience. I know people turn around and say there's loads of experience in this. And there is. But as a team, as a unit, I think there's a lot of inexperience there, as a collective in how we play and so on. I look at Donnarumma, he's not experienced in the Premier League. Nico O'Reilly is not experienced in the Premier League. Nunes is not an experienced winner yet. I'm sorry, I know he's been around the team for a long time, but he's not an experienced winner. Foden's not an experienced midfielder centrally yet. Nico Gonzalez is not an experienced winner yet. Doku, he's not an experienced elite winner star yet either, I would argue. Shirky isn't either. I don't know. When I'm talking about the standards that Manchester City have, you go through the bench as well. Reinders, Bob, Marmoush, Trafford, Kusanov, Aït-Nouri. They aren't experienced winners. Savino either. There's a lot of inexperienced winners there. And what I mean by that is people that you look to lean on in big games, in big moments. We've got some quality players, but I still think we are lacking a little bit of experience. So that is where I think we come down. And the reason I'm not panicking over this is because I do think Manchester City's trajectory is upwards. I think we're seeing really good signs. And today I actually thought the football at times was really good. Like, the football was nice. And I thought Doku was really impressive, and the little 1-2 in particular between Shirky and Foden should have been a gorgeous goal. We're capable of playing some very electric stuff, and we've got a great goalkeeper, and we've got some really talented players, and O'Reilly looks really good at times, and so on, etc., etc. But we are still a bit naive. We're a very good side, but we're not a great side. And even very good sides even great sides can get dragged into a dogfight, but we're not good enough yet to be relied on in a dogfight, is what I would say. And Newcastle dragged us down to their level today, and we couldn't really match it, if I'm being honest. I know we had our chances, but Newcastle, when it got in a game like that, we're always going to win it. Where previously we'd have, your Rodri at his peak, you'd have De Bruyne, who was an absolute bastard, and he would love a fight. Gundogan, a bit of no, Newcastle don't have experienced winners, but they have experience in playing that kind of game, is what I'll say. They had more conviction in, I guess. Well, as I was just saying, like, previously it became a battle, and Newcastle are better at battling than 99% of teams in the world. They just are. Normally we'd have a battle, but we'd have physical players who could do that. With De Bruyne at his peak, was an absolute unit as well. De Bruyne. We'd have people like Ake and Akanji and Walker and all that kind of stuff at the back. We'd have lots more physicality, and we got overrun physically. And I don't think we had players who knew how to answer that, because they're not necessarily at the quality or the level, the experience that previous winners are. I think we are getting better. I'm not losing any sleep over that. It is frustrating. I didn't expect us to win the league this year. We might not. But my point is, I expect us to have these bumps in the road this season. My season preview had City as second, with a big asterisk next to it saying that if Rodri was fit and playing every week, we might win the league. But he isn't fit and playing every week. He's nowhere near that. As a result, we have a vastly weaker midfield, and Bernardo, bless him, he's trying his best in there, and Foden is too, but they are not going to handle Joe Linton, Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes if they're allowed to kick the shit out of Manchester City, which they were today. So I also thought Pep Subs got it wrong today as well. I thought Shirky should have come off personally, actually. I don't think Shirky was the issue, Tizzy, in the chat there. I think it was more the fact that I took off Doku and stuff like that, and yeah, I don't understand that at all personally. But yeah, it was a frustrating day, very frustrating. But I, as I said, I don't really think I think a lot of things went wrong. I think Foden had a shit day, and I think Haaland had a shit day. When you've got two of your best players having shit days, it's hard. Haaland was uncharacteristically poor in front of goal today, and the ref did let us kick us about, and we didn't have the fight for it. So, look, I am frustrated, of course, but I don't think it's any different to the Villa game. And I think we are still capable of being overrun, and I still think we do need to find another level of resilience. Yeah, it is what it is. I just truly don't think it's the worst performance ever. Yeah, we'll be fine. It will be all right. So, Guardiola, what did he have to say about the game? Let me find out. Guardiola said it was a good advert for the Premier League, absolutely. He said Donnarumma was extraordinary. We missed chances. We were better in the second half. We were better in the second half. We conceded a goal, and after we switched both sides, and at the end we could not take a result. It is what it is. It's the bump in the road that I expect from a team in rebuild. And I know a lot of people, are still battling with the expectations that we have these days. I don't expect the City side to be as good as the great City side. I think we're working towards something, and I do have a lot of time. And we've got a lot of quality in this side. But I'm aware of our weaknesses and our flaws. I think it's a youngish side. One, it's growing as a collective, but there are still some gaping holes of quality in our squad. I thought the options off the bench today. Look, Bob he's got potential, but he's not there yet. Savinho is incredibly divisive, and he just doesn't seem to do anything right in a City shirt right now. Reinders has got potential, but he ain't there yet either. And after that, really, there was not much he could do. Marmoush probably should have come on. That's the one that should have come on. But I feel like you looked in the past. You bring Mahrez on, won't you? Something like that. Phil Foden on when he was in the Champions League final. It's a different level of quality right now, which is probably going to affect us a little bit. And as I said, I suspect and I hope that Vian is paying attention to the aggression of the Premier League, because I still think we're lacking a little bit. Like when you go to Villa Park and you've got McGinn and Morgan Rogers and the centre midfielder, the big lad who's really strong. I've forgotten his name because I'm half asleep. But let me see who played against us in that game. Let me double check results. The Villa game. Oh, Kamara, that's the fella. Kamara and Onana. When you've got Rodgers, Kamara, and Onana, and McGinn, and all that lot, they're gonna run over you. And you go to Newcastle, you've got Joe Linton, Tonali, Guimaraes, Harvey Barnes, and all these relentless runners. They didn't even have Gordon today, but they have all these players that can run and run and run and run and run. I think we're lacking a little bit there. We're definitely lacking a tiny bit of that in the midfield. And I want to see City have some players who can put the foot in a bit more, be a bit more physical. So, look, if Rodri comes back to his level, that's great. That's half your battle already, because he's a genius level footballer. I think Nico can do it too. And, someone said any player you'd like to see in the future to help against these physical midfields. I haven't got the answer top of my head right now. Elliot Anderson seems a good bet. He's a physical, aggressive player, but I don't really know, if I'm being honest. But, look, my dream signing 2 years ago was Bruno Guimaraes, and I think you saw why today. That assist for the first goal for them was pure Bruno, pure Gundogan. It was. It would have been perfect for City. He would have been a special player under Guardiola, but it's not happened. I think that ship sailed, unfortunately. But I love Bruno Guimaraes. I think he's a cracking player, and I think he's aggressive, physical, technically brilliant. He would have been it. But I don't know. But I do think whatever it's going to be, it can't be 5'7". Bernardo can't be 5'7". Phil Foden. It has to be someone with athleticism. It has to be another 6-footer, because that is the way the Premier League's going, and there's no point putting your head in sand and denying it. So yeah, not the longest reaction video, because I am poorly. I've got 2 poorly children, and they're waking up all the time. So I'm going to end this video because Nicole's going to need my help very soon. I'm absolutely certain. They're giving us 20 minutes before they wake up again. Bless them. But do not panic over this game. Do not panic. Trust me. This was a frustrating game, but it's nothing that I didn't expect. Honestly, when I saw that they had all their players back, they had Livramento back, and they had Hall back in the side, and and I looked at that 11 today. I was like, that's a physical side, man. It's just aggressive, especially when the referee lets them kick you. Especially when the referee also doesn't seem to give a shit about awarding penalties or yellow cards or anything. Yeah. Anyway. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll do 5 things learned tomorrow. Don't lose sleep over that. It's frustrating, but if we take our chances today, a bit more experience, we'll be all right. Bye-bye.